No assistance shall be furnished to any unit of the security forces of a foreign country if the Secretary of State has credible information that such unit has committed a gross violation of human rights. Leahy Law. For almost 30 years, the Leahy Law has prohibited the United States from funding foreign security forces that violate human rights. Yet for decades, the United States has consistently ignored persistent and widespread abuses by the security forces of one country, Israel, and refused to block aid to any of its military units. Now Dawn is taking action. We are filing a lawsuit against the State Department to force it to finally enforce the Leahy Law and end military aid to abusive units of the Israeli Defense Forces. This lawsuit isn't just about ending the Israeli exception from enforcing U.S. laws, but preserving the broader principles of accountability, human rights, and the rule of law. We hope our lawsuit will force a long overdue reckoning for Israeli impunity, but also crack down on U.S. foreign policies arming abusive regimes around the globe, in violation of our nation's own laws and principles.
When it comes to Israel, there is a different standard. There's a different process for Israel, a process that has resulted in not a single Israeli unit ever being held ineligible for U.S. security assistance, despite a mountain of credible reports of gross violations of human rights by Israeli security forces.
The Leahy Law, named after Senator Patrick Leahy, was enacted in 1998 to prevent the U.S. from providing assistance to foreign security units that commit gross human rights violations.
And I'd call on our State Department to explain. The Leahy Law is the Leahy Law is the Leahy Law. And it has to apply in every country where we give aid.
The U.S. has applied the law worldwide, blocking assistance to security forces in countries like Colombia, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia implicated in serious human rights abuses.
Dawn is supporting a group of Palestinian and Palestinian American plaintiffs who are taking the U.S. government to court. They are asking to enforce the Leahy Law, which prohibits sending more U.S. weapons to Israeli units involved in gross violations of human rights. Our plaintiffs think that U.S. weapons that will be sent to Israel will put them and their loved ones in danger.
We shouldn't have to sue our government to enforce its own law. Enforcing the law is a basic requirement of the U.S. government, and yet here we are.
This lawsuit also reflects the immense human cost of America's failure to enforce its own laws, continuing to provide Israel with over $20 billion in weapons to terrorize Palestinians in Gaza, where it has killed over 45,000 people, the vast majority women and children. Families that have lost their loved ones to Israeli attacks with American-funded weapons in Gaza and the West Bank are now speaking out.
If the US had been properly enforcing the Leahy Law for the past years, perhaps we wouldn't see the IDF acting as though it has total impunity and committing horrendous acts of violence and torture across Gaza and the West Bank.
Dawn's lawsuit against the State Department is a critical test of whether American laws and values still have meaning. Learn more at dawnmina.org.